Imagine your business not just surviving, but thriving. Your wealth locked in, your opportunities exploding, and your family's future built on a legacy that never fades. I'm Leah Garcia, a financial strategist and insurance professional. I help entrepreneurs and high-growth enterprises protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth through my proven system, the Wall of Wealth. I unite your experts into one cohesive strategy because the most expensive line on your balance sheet isn't debt or taxes, it's conflicting advice. Ready to align every dollar with your mission and turn today's success into tomorrow's divine promise. Wealth today, Dynasty tomorrow.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you all to the gift of family banking, making money moves with the amazing Leah Garcia. If you don't know, you should know we are in the Hello Plaza in the Metaverse that you can join from your cell phone, your laptop, or your iPhone. And more importantly, we want to thank all of you that are joining us from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from YouTube, from X, and from Instagram. We want to thank you all for joining us. Make sure you hit that button in leahgarcia.io and come and join us in the Metaverse and be a part of this amazing conversation. And if you don't know, you're definitely going to find out about the amazing Leah Garcia, the entrepreneur, keep more money and build a family empire, wealth today, dynasty tomorrow. Wall of Wealth is in her amazing Biz in a Box that you guys should go and visit. She's an amazing grandmother. She's an amazing mother. She is an amazing person overall. And if you guys are on LinkedIn, you definitely know of Leah Garcia. And we are spreading the world to everybody, or should I say the word to everybody, to know Leah Garcia. And without further ado, Miss Leah, welcome, ma'am. How are you doing today? Talk to us.
Thank you so much. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So amazing to be here. I love joining y'all in the Metaverse because it is just so incredible in here. If you can join us, I'd love for you to come up in the house and let's get this party started.
Yeah. So, the first question and the most important question is, why the gift of family banking? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, this is a great question, and it really is a gift. And I think about it this way. We've already had financial poverty. We have family members who passed away and they didn't leave a proper estate plan, and the family has to try to figure out how to not only how to bury their loved ones, but how to shore up their estate. They have to go through probate maybe. They have bills that were left unpaid, and that's a family disaster. We got to flip the script. We've already seen that, and we can flip the script and to leave the next generation better than we are. That's what should happen. So we shouldn't be starting over from zero all the time. Every family has to start over again. But if we leave them a gift of a family bank, then that our next generation will be starting up. And it's not a hand out. Remember, this is a hand up. So they're not starting from zero again. So does that kind of help, Mr. Jones? Mr. Mic Drop?
Absolutely. And once again, this is being preventative in your life. And this is something that we talk about so often. And Leah, you know this, with being a Pivot member, that it's about being preventative and taking the precaution steps to stay ready, right? You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And we all know that saying. And a lot of the times we wait till it's too late. And then it's like, oh my God, I should have did this. And especially now with the holidays coming up, you don't need that Gucci belt. You don't need that Gucci purse. You don't need that new car. You don't need the new rims. You don't need the new Jordans. You don't need that new watch. You don't need those new earrings. You need to invest into your family's dynasty for the future. Because let me tell you something, all of those things, you're going to be selling that right back to take care of the things that you should have been taking care of now. And that's why, more importantly, we're having this amazing conversation with Leah for you guys to really talk about this, and not just talk about it, but take action, especially right now with her amazing holiday sales that you should be taking advantage of and checking out her amazing Biz in a Box. And so, as we move forward, what is a family bank? Because we can talk about this all day long, but people need to know the basics. And I think a lot of the times financial strategies get on here and they talk about this and that. And people are like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're at F and I'm still at A. Can we start at A?
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm smelling what you're cooking, Mr. Jones, and I totally agree. We see this probably all over social media, family bank, cash value life insurance, and people probably get this a little misconstrued. So creating a family bank is essentially, when you drill it down to the very basic, is having some form of permanent life insurance coupled with, married to, a living trust. Okay, so that's the very, very basics. It starts there. We can't go to X if we don't even have the A and B. So these two parts have to go together. And I understand people have assets. They have real estate. They have Bitcoin. They have all these other types of things. But when creating a family bank, the core foundation is having life insurance with a living trust. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can mix and match all of that. But if you don't believe in life insurance, then this is not going to work for you. If you are somebody that you just think that, they're just figured out themselves, and this isn't for you. This is for somebody who says, I care about my family. I love my family. I want my family to have better than I did. And understanding that they need to invest in these products. A living trust, creating a living trust is not going to be free. Don't think that you can go onto Google and I'm going to fill out a little document here because I saw my friend and they said that you could go ahead and just type things in and that'll be an estate plan. No, it isn't that. You're going to have to actually pay for an estate plan. We call it a living trust, but it's really an estate plan. Plan is what we're talking about, and life insurance. So it starts there. Does that kind of help?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, everybody loves a great story. So on this topic, can you share a story or an example of how this came into play? And thank goodness that this person had this already set up when it was time to go and use it.
Yeah, for sure. And unfortunately, a lot of times people forget that there are many layers to this, right? And so we all think that we're going to live forever, although we all know that we're going to die. And so how do we set this up and why do we set it up? So I have not had a client who's passed away at this point from having a living trust, but I have had clients who have become incapacitated. So when you become incapacitated, now that means that you cannot operate your household the same way. You have to have the powers of attorneys in place. So in those cases, we're able to give those power of attorneys to their family, and then they're able to move forward and make those decisions for them. And so that's happened a couple of times. I've been in this business 20 years, so a lot of my clients were, 20 years younger than I, years ago. So now I'm probably going to be getting into the point where people are going to start to be passing away. But I had a client a few years ago, and he became incapacitated. He's a contractor. And so having this living trust in place, which is really an estate plan, there's a few things that people kind of get discombobulated. They say, okay, well, do I need a will? Do I need a estate plan? Do I need a living trust? The truth is you need all three. And so when he wasn't able to function, and he had had a heart attack is what happened. And so now he wasn't able to move forward with the business. Contracting is pretty laborious. And because we had the succession plan in place, meaning what happens to the business when he's no longer able to operate it. Because we had the succession plan in place, we were able to start to implement that succession plan. His plan was to he had a really good employee that he wanted to train up to take over the business. And so we started to implement that succession plan. And eventually that business will be taken over by his key employee. So that key employee will essentially be purchasing that business. And so that's multiple layers. It's not a one size fits all. This isn't something you just go in and it's a quick, simple fix. It's something that, so now when that business takes that over, now he's leaving that legacy for his family. Because otherwise, if we didn't have that family bank, we didn't have this set up, what would have happened? Now he's incapacitated. Who runs the business? How does his family monetize that business? We can't sell a contracting business in a fire sale. And so then those proceeds, when he does pass away, when he finally does pass away, will go into his family bank. So I know that was kind of a long answer, but it really is step by step. There really is a lot of pieces to this puzzle to put it together.
No, that's great information, and we have to understand that, 90% of wealthy families use some of the form of private family banking structure that you're talking about, because the average bank earns 7 to 8% on RRI, money you deposit, while most savings accounts pay you under 1%. So you become your own bank essentially. Are some other great ideas and why you should be utilizing this, especially with property and family and all that other stuff, with growth, liquidity, and just protection for the overall family. So when Thanksgiving does come, as it just came, you don't have auntie cussing out, grandma because, they still disputing over, what uncle left. And so it just protects everyone while you're living and while you're dead. And it's just a great reminder for us all that, as you said, we're not going to live forever. So, one of the other questions that I would ask is, why would somebody want to set this up? What are some of the biggest long-term benefits for a family to set this up that I kind of mentioned a little bit, but what are some other ones?
Yeah, and I think the concept family bank gets a little bit misunderstood. So it's not going to be like a traditional bank. We're not setting up an institution, in other words. It is going to be a cash value life insurance that you are going to contribute to. We're going to max fund this life insurance, meaning you're going to put the most amount of money possible, allowable, that you can afford into this policy, whether you're funding it monthly, annually, or a lump sum. And from that, as that money grows inside that policy, setting up the right type of life insurance policy, then you can borrow from that policy and pay yourself back when and if you want it. So what are some of the benefits of that? Well, cash value life insurance is really what is the foundation of everything. Even your bank, even your own bank, whatever institution you have, is rated based on the amount of life insurance that they own. Let me say that again. Your own bank, how they're ranked, is based on the amount of life insurance they own. It is a tier 1 capital asset, which is the safest asset you can own. So why someone would set this up is because they say, I like the idea of being able to create a legacy, borrow money for myself, pay it back on my terms. And at the same time, if we don't borrow that money, we don't ever use that, when I pass away, that life insurance policy is going to mature and blossom. So say, for example, if you have $1 million of life insurance and you've got $300,000 or $400,000 in cash value, you might use that cash value while you're alive. But when you pass away, your family will get $1 million or millions of dollars that go right back into that family bank. See, here's the thing. This is the secret. So that next generation now starts ahead. But the key is you really want to have, to really set up a family bank, you want to have at least 5 family members that are going to participate, whether they're adults, children, minors, cousins, 5 family members that are going to set up their own life insurance, so that what happens is it repopulates into that trust. That's the family dynasty. That's the secret of it. So now that dynasty builds, and every family member is going to enjoy the fruits of that labor. But it doesn't happen in one day. It is not, let me write a check today, I'm going to borrow $1 million tomorrow. It isn't that. So hopefully that clarifies that a little bit.
Absolutely. It's not where the Grinch tells you, to go rob a bank and you go to jail for, 10 years other than, paying the bank back over the 30 years. Don't take
There you go.
that advice at
There you
all whatsoever. And, as we share with people, collaboration is the new currency. And that's exactly what you're sharing with people, is that collaborating with family members that, everybody can come together and be like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And this takes, over the holidays, having this conversation and, being prepared with it, even though nobody wants to talk about it. And look, I'm going to say it. It always seems to be that we come together with family when somebody passes away. And then all of a sudden, oh, we got to spend more time with each other and take care of each other more. And then you go your separate ways and nothing gets done. And unfortunately, we wait till it's too late till something happens. And then the buck keeps getting passed. And so, with that being said, do you have to be wealthy? Because I know a lot of times people will hear this and be like, I don't got all this money to be putting up and doing all this. What is your thoughts and what is your response to people that have that, mindset?
Yeah, that's something I hear quite a bit. And here's the thing is that you may not be wealthy, but a wealthy family has to come from you. And how do
Mm,
you do that? It starts with having permanent life insurance. That's why when these people say, oh, just buy term, invest the difference. Listen, life insurance is a tier one capital asset. You may not have wealth, but can you afford a premium for a policy? If your health is good, then in my mind, it is our responsibility to invest in that so that our family will be taken care of when we pass away, whether they are children or whether they're grown adults. Again, we're talking about helping our family not start again from zero. We don't want to have to start over again every single generation. That is that generational poverty. We've got to break that spirit of generational poverty and have generational prosperity. And it comes from somebody who's willing to do it. Now, that means you may be stepping outside the box. Maybe none of your family has life insurance. Maybe you've never heard of life insurance before. Maybe you've been told that it's for Sancho, and so you don't want to leave money to Sancho. Well, if you set up your trust properly, then guess what? That money will be protected from Sancho. That means that your family bank, your family legacy will be protected from creditors, predators, from lawsuits, from new spouses, from new children. Because without those bumper rails on it, all of your assets are exposed. This is a big, big deal.
yes, that right there was a gut wrencher, for sure, for anybody that doesn't have it. Like you said, it's a must. Just like you have car insurance, just like you have insurance on your phone. Why don't you have insurance on yourself? Because you are definitely not making it, and they don't make another one of you. So, do you have to have your own business, to have to start your own family bank? Because a lot of people might ask that question, be like, oh, I don't have my own business. So how do I do that?
Yeah, I think everyone should have their own business. Everyone these days needs a side hustle. So if you don't have a side hustle, side business, I would say go run out right now and start one. But is it
Facts.
required for you to set up the gift of a family bank? It's not required. You can be an entrepreneur, business owner, self-employed, solopreneur, but you can also be an employee. You can be an employee working hard if you can afford premiums. Now I'm talking about a monthly premium that you contribute. And I'm not talking about your employer's life insurance. That is not going to help you to create a family bank. You need your own individual policy with a permanent policy. That could be an index universal life. That could be a whole life policy, but that is permanent. And that's the first core. You do not have to be wealthy. You don't have to be rich. I've had several clients who they are lower income, but they kind of save up their money and then they invest in a policy so that they know when they pass away, their families is going to be left better off than they were. Again, this is about us creating generational wealth. A lot of people talk about it, but what does that really mean? It's not enough to leave assets. Assets can be stolen, they can be squandered, they can be scammed, they can be taxed, the market could crash. So cash value life insurance is that protection. And if all those other things do well, amazing. But if they don't, you still have that wealth that you're able to transfer. And remember, how do you get life insurance? You got to qualify for it. You got to be in good health. So leaving a family legacy doesn't mean that you are wealthy, but it does mean that you got to be healthy. If your health is not good, you've had a heart attack, cancer, currently having situations, unfortunately, that it may not be affordable. It may not be doable to obtain a life insurance policy. So I'd advise you to get as much as you can as young as you are. I've never had someone tell me, my family left too much life insurance. It's too much money, Leah. We don't know what to do with it. I've never had that happen.
Never. And if I may, Leah, when you talked about start a side hustle.
Yeah.
10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, I had a gentleman come into our house and talk to us about a wellness opportunity, that good old network marketing that people frown and put their nose up to. And I took a course that said that, hey, you're going to have some life-changing events. And I just said yes. And from saying yes to that moment, that was just a little side hustle. That side hustle turned into a full-blown 3D agency that we have now, that we've been able to travel to Colombia, to Mexico, now in Thailand, and build our business and build our brand. For me, literally making that $495 investment that I would have, literally burnt away that weekend on drinks, alcohol, on clothes, on all the unnecessary things. But because I shifted my mindset and I knew that I had to do something differently, because I kept telling people that AI was coming, everything was coming, and you had to make a shift. And here we are now. That job that I had back then is no longer going to be available. And so many people are waiting till they have to be forced to make that move when they could be joining you and your team and having that side organization and having that side hustle to get with people that will help you believe in yourself, more importantly, and will help you understand your shadows and your fears and your traumas and your dramas to make your life better. And so many of us avoid that growth, but we talk about growth, and you have an opportunity that's sitting right in your inbox or right in front of you that you're hearing Leah talk to you about, and yet we won't say yes. We won't say yes to the things that we should be saying yes to. So I hope that this message hits home to you as it did to me by sharing this with you, that I don't know where I would be if I didn't say yes to that good old side hustle, and that job would have fired me or whatever else would have happened 10 years ago to this day. So never say never, and make that yes, and make that commitment and move forward.
That is so fire. And some people will, I had someone message me and they said, oh, I don't want to sell life insurance. Like, listen, this is about so much more than life insurance. If all you think I do is life insurance, then we need to have a coffee chat. Okay. So that's first and foremost. But understanding, having a side hustle, well, there's two parts to that. Number one, we all need tax write-offs. No, none of us are saying we don't pay enough taxes. We want to pay Uncle Sam more. Everybody's looking for a way to keep more of their own hard-earned money legally, moral, and ethically in their own pocket. So having a side business, a side hustle is the number one way for you, if you're an employee right now, for you to keep more of your own hard-earned money. Number two, if they join me in business, if they qualify to come on board with me, you're going to learn more about money than any course, any class, any MBA, any school of Wharton will ever teach you. You will never be scammed, bamboozled. You will know more about money than you could ever imagine. And just by osmosis, you're going to make your family better. Even if you never earned a dime coming on board with me, even if you never earned one single penny, you will have more money at the end of your life. I guarantee that, just through what you learn through coming on my team. So thank you for sharing that. You are so right about that, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, get out of your own way, because I'm here to tell you, your job is not in position to keep you hired. Your job is for profit, and their job is not to have more employees. Their job is to get rid of employees. And right now, more than ever, they're moving faster than ever to get rid of you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's part of our business, is to help businesses, automate their company, and that's to get rid of you, 100. And that's where we're at these days, and they're doing it. And so that's where you have to take care of your business, which is your household and your bills, because your boss's name does not come on your light bill. Your assistant's name does not come on your phone bill. Your name does. And so you have responsibility to get out of your own way and say, hey, let me do something else other than going home, watching American Idol, watching The Voice, going for happy hour, wasting your time with friends that are going to be sitting right there with you if you continue, wondering where their social security check is coming from, and if they got enough pennies to rub together because they didn't take the time to invest now. And why not is a better question. So let me get off my soapbox on that one.
No, I was going to say, that's why Mr. Mic Drop is in the house right there. That's why we call you Mr. Mic Drop, always dropping those golden nuggets, golden bars. I love it.
Yeah, people definitely have to get moving. So, why does everyone do this? And we've talked about this, but as if you could whisper in somebody's ear, as you talked about the tax benefits, right? Leaving the family trust, having this all in paperwork, and just the morality of just having this as a safety net, and not even a safety net, just a must, right? Like you have a door on your house. Why do you not have life insurance on you, right? Why do people need this?
That's a great question. And I'm going to tell you a story. Because unfortunately, even though I do this and I talk about this every single day, sometimes our own family doesn't listen to us. And unfortunately, recently, I've had a family member pass away that I love very close to. And unfortunately, although she intended to put things in place, things weren't exactly in place. And what happens is then we leave our family wondering. Aside from the money, let's talk real talk here. If you don't leave your instructions of what you want, of what you believe, your wisdom, if you don't leave those instructions to your family, then they're left with a lot of unanswered questions. And that alone, people will do so many things because they feel so lost. They lost their loved one, and now they don't know what you wanted. What did you believe? What was important to you? They think they know, but everybody knows a bit part of us. Your sister may know you differently than your children do. So why everyone should have life insurance and a living trust is because what we shared earlier. What is the alternative? The alternative is leaving confusion. You're going to leave a family that is going to be battling over things, not just assets. It may be over just a paperclip that you used. And we've seen that over and over again. It's like the broken record player that plays over and over again. And it's not just people that maybe don't have as much money. It even happens with the rich and wealthy. We've all heard the stories of Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, and the list goes on and on. It's because I just have to think that people just think they have more time. We never know what place we are in the line. We never, ever know. But we know we ain't getting out of this alive. So if we know that, why wouldn't we have it? And think about it this way. We have car insurance and cell phone insurance, like you alluded to, Mr. Mike Drop. And we don't know. Are we going to get in a car accident? We don't know. It's a likelihood. We have cell phone insurance. Do we know if we're ever going to use it? Maybe will we ever lose our phone, or will it ever be broken? Maybe. Well, we know with 100% certainty we're all going to pass away. So why wouldn't we leave the instructions? Why wouldn't we leave the guidelines? Why wouldn't we leave the life insurance and the estate plan, no matter what size your estate is, so that your family isn't left in wondering? And that's where the bitterness comes out. That's where the family arguments come out, is because things weren't made clear. Don't nickel and dime this. It is going to take some money to put it together. Okay, but if you look at my holiday sale, the living trust, that estate plan is on sale right now. So you want to take advantage of that. But don't think you can do this yourself. It really requires an expert. It really requires, like I talk about, those 4-pillar professionals. And maybe you don't have them all right now. But if my clients that work with me will have the access to the CPA, the estate planning attorney, the tax attorney, and of course, me as a professional life and health insurance agent. It really requires all of that to put together a proper estate plan, so that your family, when they think of you, they're going to remember the memories. They're going to be able to focus on the family traditions, on the things they did with you, on the wisdom you shared with them. Because otherwise, the last memory they will have is of the family fighting, of the family arguing, of the court they had to attend, of the lawsuits that were filed. And that is a family disaster.
Yeah, I can concur to that. My grandfather passed away, and my mom, sisters, she has 2 sisters, literally just, my grandfather maybe passed away when I was in college. So we're talking almost 2006, just 2 years ago. They just now settled on everything. And I'm talking about, Bibles, I'm talking about dishes, I'm talking about pictures, houses. I mean, it was just chaos. And, it tore the family apart. Like, I don't talk to my cousins, because their cousin says some mean stuff to my mom. And I mean, I'm a living testimony of this, of how this plays out. And so many other people are as well. And, for the people that have left us, such as my grandfather, this is probably the last thing he wanted to leave us with, especially after he was, the rock of our family. And so many of you are the rock of your family. And we choose to leave this. And it's kind of like leaving your legacy, kind of tarnished a little bit. And so make sure you set up the proper things, and you have that insurance card when you do get pulled over. Right? When the refrigerator does go out, you say, "Ooh, I got my warranty right here. Let's take it back to Best Buy and let's, exchange it out." That's not happening. You're not getting exchanged out, but they can get a new refrigerator, right? So there's so many other things that, we can do and we can implement for our family and not be selfish, right? And I think that's what it really comes down to, is us getting out of our own way and us not living our lives where it's just about us. And yes, when you go out, you're going to go out by yourself, and bills, I got to worry about. but your wife, your kids, your family, your nieces, your nephews, whoever you leaving it to, like Leah said, you don't want to leave it to Sanchez, right? Or what was the name earlier? Sancho. So you better make sure you sign it up to the right person. So definitely, Leah, I greatly appreciate sharing this amazing information. And you guys, look, make sure you go and visit with Leah. Take care of your wealth, take care of your dynasty, take care of your family, and more importantly, take care of your money. Like she said, there's no better way than to learn about money other than, knowing the game. And so many people are playing the game of money that they don't know, and they playing it like this is Monopoly, and we ain't playing Monopoly, right? We are well past Monopoly. You don't pass your $200 every time, you go around the block. Because if that was the case, I'd be driving around my block every weekend, right? With that being said, Leah, any final thoughts, any final words you want to share with the people before we get out of here?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say now's the time. It's good. We had 2025. We said it was our year to thrive. Now we're going into 2026. It is time for us to get in the mix. We got to get out of the shadows. We got to start taking action. We've got to get out of the background and start getting into the front line, because if we don't, we're going to have the same old story that we've always had. We've seen that story many, many times. Now it's the time to be that change. And it is difficult going upstream. You may be the first one in your family who even took the first action. Maybe you've never sat down with a financial professional. Now's the time to have a coffee chat with me. Let's get on a coffee chat. Listen, there is no judgment here. We all start from somewhere. But we got to be willing to peel back the curtain. Like I always say, take off the gloves, look under the sofa cushions, and we got to have the real conversation. We got to look at really what is going on so that we can put a financial plan to help you to move forward. And let's make 2026 the best year of your life. It can absolutely be that. But it only comes from what? All progress starts from telling the truth. And we got to look at the truth of our finances.
Absolutely. You heard Leah. So make sure you guys go to her amazing business box at leahgarcia.io and get her amazing wall of wealth, interactive wall of wealth. Take advantage of her amazing holiday sales, and definitely make sure you book that actual coffee chat and get curious, learn more. What else you going to do? Sit there and watch The Voice, right? You can only watch so much at the end of the day. So make sure you guys have that conversation and, be curious. It's 2026. Did you have the same conversation last year? As I was just thinking, me and Leah have been knowing each other for well over almost going on 3 years now. And wow. I remember her word being courageous the first year. What was your word this year?
It was thrive.
Thrive. You have a word already for next year yet?
I was thinking about that, and I'm not sure yet, but I think it's going to be like action. Take action. We got to get more action oriented. So many of us are waiting and hoping and praying somebody will reach out to us and say, let me buy your widget, let me buy your thing. And we have to be proactive. We got to make conversations. We got to have coffee chats. We got to make phone calls. We got to show up, and we have to showcase and be willing to put the spotlight on other people. Well, if we're willing to humble ourselves and not have to be the est, okay, I call it the S, like the prettiest, the strongest, like the bestest. If we're willing to not be the est all the time and showcase and highlight others, you will be amazed on how much will be poured back into you, on how many people will shine the light on you, even people that you never even imagined. People will come out of the woodwork to support you, to highlight you, to encourage you, to showcase you, and to share what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. We love it. So make sure you guys go and take action. Make sure you thrive and be courageous at the end of the day. And without further ado, you guys know the drill. Love, kindness, integrity, but most importantly, commitment and consistency. Until next time, toodles!
Toodles!
Are you ready to take control of your financial future? Introducing Leah Garcia's Wall of Wealth. the ultimate one-page financial plan to protect, distribute, and transfer your wealth with confidence. Whether you're a business owner or just starting your financial journey, this step-by-step guide gives you the tools to create a solid foundation for long-term success. Don't wait to transform your money mind shift. Download your free copy today at leahgarcia.io and start building your wall of wealth now.